Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. Welcome to the King Power Stadium, where it is very, very quiet here now. The fans have headed out, but I've still got that Raquel Merino chant ringing in my head, and I'm probably going to have it ringing in my head for the entire journey back down towards London, because he is undoubtedly being the hero here for Arsenal. 2-0, they have won it. Merino coming off the bench to score the 2 goals in, I think it was the final 10 minutes. I think the first goal went in the 80th minute, second one about 88th minute. Absolutely turning this game on its head. Come on as the makeshift striker, and he was absolutely the hero today, and he totally took the claim of the travelling away fans, who were fantastic, by the way, here today. It was a horrible match. It really, really was. This was not pretty. Especially that first half, which we should probably never ever talk of ever again after today, because it was pretty rotten. But they will not care. The away fans won't care. The Arsenal players won't care. And as you can see, as they were celebrating on the full-time whistle over in front of the away section over there, just in front of me, this win meant an awful lot, and it was a big win, no doubt about it. This was the first game of the I don't know if you want to call it the new experiment, whatever, in terms of the front line and what Arsenal are going to have to do for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks until Saka and Martinelli come back. This was the first game of that experiment. It was never going to be easy. It was always going to be teething problems. But yeah, that first half was really, really poor. It just did not work. Raheem Sterling, I've said it before, I just kind of feel sorry for Raheem Sterling at this point, because a player who's achieved so much, who's done so much in his career, scored so many goals, created so many goals, won so many trophies, to see him playing like this and just a shadow of his former self, it was painful to watch. Just getting the first half, just being caught offside when he absolutely shouldn't be offside, just looking across the line, 2, 3 times it happened in that first half to stop Arsenal attacks. It was just really, really careless from him. And then in the second half, when he was playing right in front of me down here, watching him try to take on the fullback, there was no tricks, there was no skills. He just ran into him every single time. He just looked like he didn't have a clue, or he didn't have a confidence to be able to get round his fullback. And as I said, this was the first game of that experiment of the new front three of Trossard central, Sterling left, and Nwaneri right. And you've got to say, Sterling's probably played himself out of that front three now in the first game, when you've only got 3 attackers in the squad, which I think says it all. It was a really poor day for him today, but he wasn't the only one. Trossard, I thought, struggled, although once he moved out to the left to accommodate Merino when he came on for that final 20 minutes, it was Trossard who produced a really good ball to set up Merino's second goal. So he at least, made his mark in that second half. So Mikel's got some thinking to make. I'm just watching him. He's just been standing down pitch side there with Joe Cole and Martin Keown doing the TNT Sports sort of post-match interview. And he's got a lot of thinking to do now in terms of what he's going to do with this attack between now and the West Ham game next week, because as I said, I can't see a way that Sterling starts that game. So you're going to have to go with Merino up top from the start, and where he came on and made the huge difference today. Will he be able to do that from the start rather than coming on as a sort of impact player? That's a decision that Arteta's going to have to face, but that's for him to think about in this coming week at London Colney. For today, look, Arsenal deserved to win this game, there's no doubt about it, but they were not. It was not a pretty game to watch. And I think this is probably what we're going to have to get used to for the next few weeks, as I said, until Martinelli and Saka come back. The first half, they had lots of the ball, didn't really do too much with it. As I said, sometimes they did get forward, looked like they were threatening, but then Sterling or Trossard would be caught offside when they shouldn't be, and it just stopped the attack before it really got going. There was a couple of decent moments. Odegaard sort of lofted one pass over the back line for Trossard, who got his finish all wrong. And aside, I think it was Ndidi actually at the other end, had a chance right at the end of the first half of a header that he put just wide. That was Leicester's only real chance of the game. But it was just a really poor from both teams. The first 45 minutes, there was no tempo, no urgency. It was a classic 12:30 p.m. kickoff, and the atmosphere was flat. It was just not a great game to watch. Second half was definitely much better. Arsenal upped the tempo, which wasn't hard because there was no tempo in the first half, but they did up the tempo. They put the pressure on. You felt like something was coming, and Ethan Nwaneri, who was the undoubted bright spot of the afternoon, always looked like the person, if Leicester were going to get sort of unlocked, it was going to be Ethan Nwaneri did it. There was one lovely little breakaway that Arsenal did when Odegaard threaded the ball to Nwaneri. He did really well to take it into his path, beat the defender, and he smashed one from the edge of the box, which clipped the top of the bar. It looked like it was heading for the top corner, but it just clipped the top of the bar and went over. He had another one on the breakaway. Again, I think it was Rice maybe who played him in this time, and he smacked it with his right foot. I think everyone was expecting him to cut inside on his left like he normally does, but he smacked it with his right foot, smashed against the post and away. He always looked like he was going to be the one who opened up Leicester if it did happen, and it proved to be the case because it was him who set up Merino's first goal to unlock the game. But before that, I just want to mention it. Miles Lewis-Skelly, all the talk will be about Merino, and quite rightly so for the way he turned the game. But at 0-0, Leicester, on a very rare attack, got in down the left. I think it was Thomas Partey gave the ball away in a really dangerous area, and Leicester suddenly were in down the left, and they got down, sent the ball to the back post, and it looked a certain goal. And Lewis-Skelly produced a fantastic piece of defending just to knock it behind from a corner. When it was one of those instances you just expect the fullback to put it in his own net because he knew the striker was behind him about to score, and so you've got to do something. And more often than not, that ends up going in as an own goal. But Lewis-Skelly kept his head and just diverted it behind for a corner. It was a fantastic piece of play at a crucial time in the game that kept it at 0-0. And then, eventually Sterling went off. Merino came on. I think Arteta waited too long to make that change. It was kind of painful watching what was going on with Sterling in that second half. But he did make the change about 20 minutes to go. And it made an impact. I think that chance I told you about when Ranieri hit the post, that started from a ball going forward to Merino, and he knocked it down to Rice, and then Rice played the ball through. And so already that was making a bit of a difference. And then the goal, when it came, not surprisingly, it was Ranieri who created it, lofted one of those brilliant little balls to the back post, and Merino rose so well. It was like a seasoned striker rising at the back post, and he planted his header in to make it 1-0, wheeled away to celebrate in front of the away fans. And then he added a second not too long after that. This was a really good goal from Arsenal, this one. It was a good breakaway from them. Calafiori, who came on. Mikel, I said he waited a little bit too long to make the subs, but the subs he did made a difference. Obviously, Merino getting the goal. Calafiori, I thought, injected some good energy at a time when Arsenal needed it, because Lewis-Skelly, who put in a really good shift, but he was tiring. You could see that. Thomas Partey was just off it today, I thought. Didn't look... It was just off the pace, and he was really struggling in that second half. I think his legs were beginning to go, and so Jorginho came on, and I think those subs made a real difference for Arsenal. And it was Calafiori who sort of started the breakaway in the second half for the second goal. He drove forward. He played the ball out to the left-hand side for Trossard. As I said, it wasn't the best of games from Trossard. Needs to produce more than he did today, but having moved over to the left, once Merino came and played as central, it was him who produced one of those balls. We've seen a few of them from him in the last sort of 6 weeks or so, to set up goals like this, getting in down the left, whipping it in with his left foot. And it was, again, just a striker's finish from Merino, arriving late at the back post, caught it on the half volley, and gave the goalkeeper no chance to make it 2-0. And it was game, set, and match at that point. I think it was the 88th minute. So, yeah, very, very unlikely hero. I know we've sat here on this channel, we've all debated this week, what are we going to do up front? Who's going to start? And we spoke about, is there going to be a wild card? Will it be Merino? We spoke about Calafiori potentially doing it. Always thought if anyone was going to be the wild card, it would be Merino. But even I, in my wildest dreams, would never have imagined he'd come off the bench and score 2 goals to win Arsenal the game in the manner that he did. So it was really great. And the away fans, who were brilliant today, by the way, the away fans were absolutely fantastic in a game that was really poor for large periods of it, when the home fans were so flat because there was nothing to get them on their feet. The away fans kept going, they kept urging the team on. The atmosphere was great from them, and they serenaded Mikel Merino at the end of the game, who I saw was speaking to TNT on the pitch afterwards, and said he forgot Valentine's Day yesterday, so he forgot to get a present for his wife, and so he dedicated these 2 goals to her as a very late Valentine's Day present. I'm not sure she'd appreciate that very much. I'm sure she probably would have preferred some flowers, but I think every single Arsenal fan would appreciate these 2 goals, because they're 4 points behind Liverpool now. We'll see what happens. I'm not expecting Wolves to do Arsenal any favours tomorrow at Anfield, but you never know. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. But at least Arsenal have closed the gap. They've put the pressure on. They've moved briefly to within 4 points of Liverpool. And we'll have to see what happens now for the rest of the weekend. But good win in the end. Comfortable win. Certainly looks like that on paper. Might not have actually panned out like that on the pitch, but 2-0. Can't really complain. Okay, player ratings wise, then David Raya given 6 out of 10. I mean, he literally was didn't have much to do at all in this game. When he came for crosses, he took them, did well enough on that. Couple of nervy moments in the first half when he had a ball at his feet where he thought, is he going to play Arsenal into trouble here? But he just about got away with it. So I gave him 6 out of 10. I gave all 4 of the defenders 7 out of 10. They weren't really put under too much pressure from this Leicester team, and this was a poor Leicester team who look absolutely nailed on for relegation. But they weren't really put under too much pressure. Gabriel and Saliba comfortably dealt with the threat of Vardy. I gave them both 7 out of 10s. Timber, I gave 7. I thought, and he produced one brilliant ball, Timber, in the second half. It was for Merino, actually. It was still at 0-0, and Merino just couldn't get there at the back post. But it was a brilliant ball in from I've completely lost my train of thought. Someone just shouted behind me during Timber. That's what I'm talking about, wasn't it? I'd just like to see him get on the overlap a little bit more in these games, Timber, because he can do it, and that sort of cross that he produced there shows he can make an impact in the final third. So I'd like to see him get on the overlap a little bit more, but I thought it was a solid performance. I gave him a 7. Lewis Skelly definitely tired as the second half wore on, but yeah, produced an absolutely crucial moment at 0-0. So I gave him a 7 as well. In midfield, as I said, it was a tough day for Thomas Partey. I thought he just, for a player who's normally so good in possession and keeps the ball, moves it well. There was a couple of nice passes that did break the lines, but gave the ball away quite a few times it was unlike Thomas Partey. It just looked sluggish, a little bit off the pace for him. Maybe the break. We know that Thomas Partey sometimes when he doesn't play for a while, it takes a bit of time to get that rhythm back. Maybe this 10-day break this will be the sort of game that he needs just to get back into the rhythm, move back to the old Thomas Partey. But I thought he struggled. I wasn't surprised he was replaced in that second half because he looked like he needed to be. So I gave him 5 out of 10. Odegaard I gave 6 out of 10. A couple of nice touches from Odegaard. He did at least try to sort of drive Arsenal forward at times, especially in the second half. But you can still see he's searching for that form. Just the fact that he's not shooting when he should be shooting is just a telltale sign of a player who's scrambling for a little bit for confidence at the moment. 2 years ago, he would have had about 3 or 4 shots in this game 2 or 3 years ago. But today, I don't think he even got a shot away every time he looked to make the pass, which you can just see he's struggling for confidence in front of goal. So I gave him 6 out of 10. Declan Rice was comfortably Arsenal's best midfielder on the day. Was arriving in the box at times, looked a threat. He did look, even at 0-0, I thought if Arsenal were going to score at times, it was going to be Declan Rice who was going to get it arriving late at the box. It didn't happen because the ball wasn't quite right at times, but he did make that run time and time again. And he just didn't stop working. At the end of the game at full time, he collapsed as Arsenal broke away, collapsed in the penalty area just on a full time whistle. He must have been absolutely exhausted, but he was definitely Arsenal's best midfielder on the day. So I gave him 7 out of 10. In attack, I'll start with Sterling. I gave Sterling 3 out of 10. And to be honest, I think that's being quite kind. He just didn't do anything, Sterling. And what he did do was hurt Arsenal. He was stopping attacks when he was being caught offside. He was losing possession when he had a one-on-one with the fullback every single time he tried to take him on. It was just it was a tough watch, a really, really tough watch for Raheem Sterling. So I gave him a 3 out of 10. Trossard, I gave a 6, and I probably would have given him a 5 had it not been for that assist right at the end, which was a really nice assist from him. But, again, like Sterling, he needs to raise his game. He needs to play better than he did today. This was his first game playing as that sort of false 9 role. I wouldn't be surprised if he moves back out to the left-hand side for the West Ham game next week with Merino coming back in the central role. So I gave him a 6 out of 10. And Nwaneri, Arsenal's best player on the day by a mile. I gave him 8 out of 10. Hit the post, hit the bar, set up the first goal. Was always a threat. Really comfortable on the ball. He was just Arsenal's best player, man of the match. I saw him. He just picked up the man of the match trophy down there. So I gave him 8 out of 10. Weirdly, I'm going to go on to my subs now, and I'm going to give Merino a 9 out of 10, which seems silly because I've just given Nwaneri 8 out of 10 and given him man of the match. But he was only on the pitch 20 minutes, Merino. But obviously it's tough. It's like, how do you not get 9 out of 10 when you come on in 20 minutes, score 2 goals and win the game? Maybe he should be man of the match for that. But I just thought Sterling, Nwaneri for the full 90 minutes deserved it. But yeah, Merino, what an impact. Unbelievable. 9 out of 10 for him. Calafiori, I gave a 7. And I gave Calafiori and Jorginho a 6. But Calafiori, certainly involved in that second goal and can be very happy with what he did. Arteta's rating, I gave him a 7 because it was weird because I think he waited too long to make those subs. He definitely should have taken Sterling off because you could see how much he was struggling. And I was getting really frustrated at how long it was taking. But then when he did make the subs made a difference because Merino scored the 2 goals. Calafiori was involved in the second goal. So in the end, I gave him a 7 out of 10. But I still feel he sat on his hands a little bit too long, Mikel Arteta, before making the changes. But ultimately, the changes did pay off and they did work. But he's definitely got a big decision to make. It's probably quite an easy decision, but he's got a big decision to make in terms of West Ham next week, in terms of who starts up front, because I just don't see how Sterling can play again after this one. But that's it. It's finished here. Leicester 0, Arsenal 2. 4 points now, the gap between Arsenal and Liverpool. Wait and see what Wolves do tomorrow. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll be back tomorrow to do this a lot more in depth. If you want to get involved in that show, as always, leave me your comments below and I'll pull something together and get them included tomorrow from the King Power Stadium. Speak to you later, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.